Friends, it's T-Man and I'm back with a new video, bro. I'm gonna do a brand new video on someone called the Gojiman. Now, I think I did a video once on him before, but I'm gonna do another video on the Gojiman again. So he did a video called I don't even know what to call him. Is he like a vegan slave? Maybe he's a vegan slave. Why is everyone quitting keto and carnivore in 2024? Keto and carnivore. Well, carnivore, these people are not carnivores. None of them there are carnivores, and I'll prove it in this video.
Today I'm going to detail those and why I no longer follow the carnivore diet.
You know, the more I think about it,
why don't you follow the carnivore diet? Because you processed your meat by boiling it, cooking it, frying it, barbecuing it. Yeah, that's not carnivore, dude. Carnivore means you're eating it raw. You actually really are on carnivore diet. I don't even say carnivore diet. You could call it that, but it's not really carnivore diet. That's not a real carnivore diet. It has to be real and raw, like in nature.
I think that the carnivore diet is like a cult. But when I look back,
the carnivore diet's like a cult. Not really. People are just trying to return back to nature. They don't even realize they're out of nature. That's another thing. Hey, look, it's Thomas DeLauer. Okay, great. So yeah, the Gojiman. Okay.
When I was doing keto for about a decade, even the times when I was very, very strict, there are some...
He did keto. Keto doesn't exist in nature. It's fake. It's man-made.
Things that I would definitely do differently now.
Those potato chips, they don't exist. Those are man-made. The olive or the avocados he's eating there as well, they're man-made. You can't find them out in nature. These plants, they don't look like that out in nature, dude.
Having a broader amount of knowledge.
The end of that story.
A broader amount of knowledge? Well, you're not born with knowledge, that's for sure. But I can't tell you this. I can give you some advice. You are born with instincts to survive, but you're not born with knowledge. So you gather experience when you come out in this world. You don't even have a book when you come out.
The next chapter of the story was about 2 years into the carnivore diet. I started noticing.
No, he's a fake carnivore. He's 2 years into processing his meat, which is not carnivore. If you cook or you process, any way you process or cook your meat, it is not carnivore.
Persistence of unpleasant symptoms.
If he saw any unpleasant symptoms, it was because the black stuff, when you barbecue it, that black stuff is carcinogenic. The moment heat touches meat, it causes a chemical reaction. Now, this lady's going to say she went on carnivore, but I don't believe her. She's somebody fake because she's trying to attract people to the vegan slave. She wants to bring them over to being vegan slaves. She's recruiting vegan slaves. She's going to say she got a stroke from carnivore diet. I really doubt that, even if it was cooked.
So, who knows? I don't know, and I'm not saying that carnivore did this, but I'm saying that I've been on carnivore.
She's lying. She didn't get anything. Look at her. She says she has a stroke. If she has a stroke, she wouldn't be able to move.
I'm a pretty darn healthy person. I work out like 5 mornings a week.
Yeah, you're speaking. I'm a healthy person. I work out 5 times a week. That's why you got a fucking stroke. Working out is not healthy. What are you talking about? Name me one health benefit of fucking exercise, lady. All it does is make you better at doing that movement. That's it. It's based on fucking motor units. Okay, man? Your nervous system. That's all it really is, the nervous system.
I'm pretty healthy, have a decent weight. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Haven't had a drink in 23 years. I don't do drugs. There should be no reason.
Okay, so what does that have to do with anything? But you're working out, which is unhealthy. It increases cortisol. Shortens lifespan, causes inflammation. It causes inflammation to every cell in your body, lady. Why do you think you got a stroke?
I would think.
That's how healthy exercise is for you. Give you a heart attack and fucking destroy you.
That I would have a stroke.
Why are so many of these people quitting keto and carnivore?
And this is the king of them all, this doofus.
Let's explore. Roll the titles.
TD customers.
As always, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO, organic acid, stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information.
Kind of obvious he's selling tests, no wonder why.
Upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. Now, it's clear that many people fall into the keto and carnivore diets usually to resolve health problems. It could be gut issues, autoimmune issues, or even diabetes. But the
Not necessarily. Some people go do it because it's your natural diet as a human. That is your natural diet, eating wild animals out in nature. Eating raw meat, raw organs, drinking the blood, drinking the meat, raw milk, which is obviously it is illegal by your government to even drink raw milk, which is probably the most healthy. Here's the thing with carnivore, the so-called carnivore diet. Okay, so let's reflect back on. Let's just use this as an example. These Mongols. Okay, so they trolled all across Europe and Asia. What was the main staple? What was the main staple of their food? Raw milk. That's what they did. They drank raw milk. They weren't going to slaughter all their animals crossing this land, moving around. They're going to eat muscle all the time. No, they're going to carry animals with them. They're grass fed. They're going to eat, and they're going to produce milk, and they're going to drink milk. That's right. And milk, raw milk does not spoil. It can stay out very, very, very long. As far as meat, if they had meat, they probably salted it and carried it in pelts. It was raw and salted. And they carried it in these leather pelts. Okay, dude? And they probably ate it sparingly, but they drank mostly raw milk. Yes, that's what they did. So these people on carnivore diet are not even doing it properly. They don't even have access to raw milk. They're not even drinking raw milk like they're supposed to, like these people did in the past. But the majority of people out there, even in nature, they most likely stopped and they drank a lot of milk. I mean, I would probably say if you went way back, it's really hard to say. They most likely ate fish, raw fish, like people eating today, raw sushi. Nothing wrong with that. Eating raw beef, which is beef tartare, but people are not eating that here in this artificial world. And like I said, milk. So as the times went by, people are drinking more milk than eating just muscle milk, are eating muscle, but they can still eat organs and muscle, okay? If you have access to animals. So yeah, it's really dependent, man. I don't know. Like I said, it should be raw anyways. Regardless, it should be raw. It's not raw. It's not carnivore.
The problem with many of these people is that they add 1 and 1 and they get 35. They have underlying health issues, and instead of fixing these health issues...
So they ran to carnivore because of health issues, but they were carnivore all their lives. They've been eating meat and vegetables and fruit all their life. These are not vegans, bro. You didn't say vegans went carnivore. You said these people went carnivore. In other words, an elimination diet. They eliminated these plants out of their original diet of what? Meat, eating meat, which is still processed.
At the root cause, they get brainwashed into thinking that all fruits and vegetables are bad for them.
Well, I love this one. They get brainwashed into believing, but didn't we get brainwashed into believing that they're healthy for us when they're actually toxic and actually really bad for us and full of sugar? Isn't that really bad for humans? And they're full of fiber, which we can't digest. Yeah, you try eating a cotton shirt and see if you digest that fiber. That's why you're shitting all day. What the hell is he talking about?
And to make things worse, like many people, I started getting swayed by all of this stuff, namely things like the natural defense chemicals in food, like plants want to kill you. Things like oxalates, lectin, phytic acid, all of these anti-nutrients found in plants. When you eat them, they're now like...
Yeah, they're found in plants. What about them? Yeah, they are anti-nutrient. Phytotoxins.
Fighting against your body.
Now, if I said to people, I can make you rich within 24 hours, you just need to give me £1,000, then most people would rightly say you're a scammer.
Yeah, but they would send you the money because they're stupid out there. People are easily duped.
But for some reason, when influencers come to the internet and say that fruits and vegetables are toxic, and if you...
Oh, but it's okay when the government and everybody else tell you that fruits and vegetables are healthy for you. Name me one health benefit of fruits and vegetables, sir. You haven't really named one benefit. You keep saying that influencers are saying it's unhealthy, yet this guy gave examples of what's not healthy about fucking fruits and vegetables. They have lectins, oxalates, cyanide, arsenic, a bunch of things, bro. They're phytotoxic. Come on, wake up, man. Name me one fucking benefit, health benefit.
Remove them from your diet, then all of your health issues go away. Then
yeah, if you eliminate them, they will go away. Yes, they do. That's why they eliminated them and they turned normal.
People will drink this nonsense up for one very...
What's the nonsense? Come on, give us one piece of something. Anything.
Simple reason. Quite simply, when your health is failing you, you are more vulnerable and you are more prone to making irrational decisions.
Not necessarily. People experiment because they don't have knowledge out there. They don't know anything. And especially in this world, the artificial world that you live in, sir, because you don't live in nature, so you can't reflect on nature, what you would be doing out there as a normal human being. You, sir, are a domesticated animal sitting there. Yes, in that whatever it is you're sitting there, whatever the hell you're doing there.
But the thing about truth is that it will always come through. You might see some initial health.
I mean, look at your face. It's ugly. Look how ugly you are. Look how small you are and how frail and skinny you are. You're frail, skinny, weak, and ugly. You're wearing eyeglasses. You're blind. You want to know why? Because of those beautiful, healthy plants that are so healthy for you. Those few fruits and vegetables. Your mom ate them and you ate them. And that's why you look nice and ugly. You see, the animals out there, they all eat their appropriate diet. You understand? The appropriate food that they're supposed to eat out in the wild. Notice how they all look the same. They all look handsome and pretty and sexy. But look at humans. We all look different. Plumpy, short, fat, ugly, round, ugly faces, square faces, punched in faces. Very few of us ever came out looking good because probably it's a genetic thing carried on from the past, and their parents still ate meat. But your parents, they ate toxic plants. That's why your face is ugly, sir, and that's why you're blind.
Improvements by going keto or carnivore, but sooner or later you will see the consequences.
Again, keto is fake. I'm not into keto. Keto's fake. But carnivore is natural, and it shouldn't be cooked, sir.
That story, or the next chapter of the story, was about 2 years into the carnivore diet. I started noticing.
Again, he's not a carnivore. He hasn't been in the carnivore diet. Unless he was eating it raw, he's not a carnivore.
Distance of unpleasant symptoms. So testosterone dropped to around 500 total. Sleep.
I never heard that testosterone would drop down to 500. Sleep would get bad. That's very odd. Very, very, very odd. Unless he's having withdrawal symptoms from eating drugs all day called plants. Yeah.
Disturbances, palpitations, muscle cramps.
Yeah, I think he's having withdrawal symptoms from eating these drugs called plants all day. Yes, sugar's a real heavy-duty drug, dude.
When I was surfing or climbing, and I started to think, okay, maybe long-term ketosis is not great for me.
Now, you might look at it and say, what's the harm going keto or carnivore?
What's the harm going there? You would look really sexy, and your kids would look good too, and it'd be passed on genetically to them, and they will undomesticate themselves. Because if you eat plants, it domesticates you. Think about it. If you take a boar out of the wild and you put him on a farm, what does he turn into? A pig. How does he turn into a pig? Feed him an artificial diet, a fake diet, what you're eating. That's why your face is ugly. You want to have a nice looking face, sir, and lose those glasses? Being blind? Well, start eating meat. Natural meat. Be a natural carnivore. Stop cooking your food and processing it, sir.
You might get some sleep issues, muscle cramps, or even palpitations.
Yeah.
Well, for many, it can be much worse.
But I just had a stroke.
Have you seen your teeth, sir? You need to go check your teeth, man. They look terrible. Look at this lady. She looks like she's eaten so many toxic plants. Her face is crooked. Her mouth is on the left side. I mean, look at her. She's so ugly.
In the basement, I was doing my arm weights on a bench, on an incline bench.
Oh, so I forgot about her. She's the exercise lady. Exercise is healthy for you. You know how many people have died in gyms, and exercise have gotten people into so many problems and diseases? It's killed people, shortened the lifespan, a bunch of stuff. What is healthy about exercise? Let me tell you something. There's nothing healthy about laboring in a factory, okay? Exercising in a factory, even if you are getting paid there.
And I was pushing my arm up in the air. I had just 15 pounds, which is not heavy. And unfortunately, my left arm started going numb, and then my left leg went numb. I immediately knew it was a stroke, and I ran upstairs, and I said, "How?"
Yeah, and she's going to say, whoa, because I ate meat, that's what caused it. Oh, yeah, okay. Any proof of that?
Get out of bed. I'm having a stroke. I'm having a stroke. Call 911. But I knew I needed to get upstairs because Alan would have been asleep if I passed out in the basement, and I knew something was quite seriously wrong with me. I'm a girl who, at 65 years old, had a stroke, and I'm going to have my cholesterol
Oh, looks like you came out of it. You sure it was a stroke?
taken. I'm pretty concerned, actually, that I've been on.
I want to check my cholesterol. Cholesterol when people centenarians check their cholesterol, they have high cholesterol. That's what it's associated with longevity, high cholesterol.
A carnivore on and off for a long time. I don't remember exactly when I started.
Now,
I was on carnivore on and off. I don't know when I started. You've been eating meat your entire life. You mean you went off of, you mean you eliminated these plant foods and then you came back on them and you eliminated them, came back on them? Yeah, okay.
I have made a few videos about the shocking rise in self-reported stroke.
Look, everybody eats meat before this stupid, raw, so-called fake vegan bullshit came around. The vegan slave thing. All right, that's new. And then you even have like vegetarians, but they do dairy products. That's how they survive.
And heart attacks in the keto and carnivore communities, but none of the cult leaders like Sean Baker want to acknowledge the situation because it's not good for business. But this
Sean Baker acknowledged that he has. A lot of people have already acknowledged these people. We know about that lady. We know about these people. That's why I'm doing this video, because we've done you before. We know who you are.
denial-like mentality goes right across the keto and carnivore communities.
And then I started to dig a little bit deeper.
Again, if you're not raw carnivore, that is not carnivore. That is an elimination diet, what they're doing, and they're cooking their meat, so it's processed.
And do some actual research into these topics. And much of what I found was conflicting.
I mean, look at this guy's face. Look at his teeth and look at his face. It's kind of weird. That's what happens when your parents and you eat these toxic plants, okay?
And in many cases, not even true. And when I told my carnivore diet friends this, they would get all defensive. And they would start to bring up all the doctors that completely swore by it.
Your carnivore friends, do they eat raw meat?
They would say things like, well, how do you explain all of these people's health conditions that are completely disappearing? And then they start to dismiss my concerns by saying stuff like, you need to do more research. You need to look into Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Anthony.
So when they eliminated the plants and they stayed on, and they just kept continuously eating meat like they've been doing their entire life, they felt better. Oh, okay, yeah, uh-huh.
Chafee and Nutrition by Judy. And all because I was...
What about them? They've eliminated plants. They were eating meat their entire life. What about it? Tell me who's not doing dairy out there, drinking milk as kids. They're eating cereal. Show me one family growing up that didn't eat meat. They're all eating meat. Hot dogs, sausages, whatever. Doing dairy products, yogurt, okay, animal products, dude, cheese, you name it. They're doing it. Cheese sandwiches, pizzas all day with pepperoni on it and cheese and everything. Come on.
Finding things that was going against what the carnivore diet people were saying. But in my gut, I knew that
Again, if it's not raw, it's not carnivore.
this wasn't right, so I dug deeper. Because as it turns out, I was on to something. Because all these figures and people pushing the diet, which we're going to start calling the usual suspects because they come.
They're not pushing a diet. You, as a carnivore, you are a carnivore. That is not a diet. So you, as a carnivore eating meat, you decided to eliminate eating these fake man-made foods. Get it? Called plants and everything else they've been engineering.
Up. So often, they were only telling one part of the story, the part of the story that was convenient for them.
But the good thing
What part of the story was convenient for them? Please give us one.
is for most sensible people, they don't want to live in echo chambers if their health is not improving, or they just know that what they are being told isn't stacking up.
I began to also follow along the way, along those months, during those months' time, I started following other influencers that aren't necessarily on the keto carnivore side. So I opened my...
Again, if it's not raw, it's not carnivore. And as far as keto, it's man-made, it's fake. This keto stuff is part of a diet.
My mind up a little bit, and I started to venture out and listen to what other experts had to say.
Holy mackerel.
Experts such as
Holy mackerel. These people are really, they're really simps, man. They're really simping.
Dr. Lane Norton, who I credit with having changed my mind about the carnivore diet. So I thank you very much, Dr. Norton, if you happen to be watching this video.
Yeah.
Anyway, after watching watched many of Dr. Norton's videos, I came to the conclusion that, gosh, maybe this isn't so great after all. Maybe I should just try counting my calories.
Now, if you have unfortunately found your
So maybe I should start counting my calories. This is not so good. So it's not so good that I eliminated these fake plants that are engineered by man. We've never eaten them before. And all these other fake foods that they engineer from these fake engineered fruits and vegetables. Yeah, okay, I need to count my calories.
way into the carnivore and keto diets, then please take a step back and take a pragmatic look at the
You're one to speak. Have you seen yourself, man? Look in the mirror, dude.
improvements that you think you are seeing. Are the improvements that you are
Improvements that you are seeing? Yeah, if you eat your appropriate food that you're supposed to as a carnivore, then you won't have any problems, yes. Especially if you started early. But if you've gotten all kinds of mutations now eating these so-called toxic plants as a carnivore, eating whatever, man, this cellulose, the fiber and everything, whatever, dude. And it's just fucking destroying you over time. It's destroyed your DNA over time. It's caused an epigenetic. Then what do you expect?
seeing because you are only eating meat, or could it possibly be you have...
And is that so bad, just only eating meat? When it has all the nutrients in there, it's not deficient in any nutrients? Why do you need to eat fruits and vegetables, sir? Please give me one reason. Why do we need to eat these healthy, toxic vegetables that are and fruits that are filled with sugar and phytotoxins? Give me one thing. Tell me why.
remove processed refined foods from your diet.
Hold on, processed refined foods? That was the only thing they eliminated? Nah, man. They eliminated everything that has to do with man-made engineered fruits and vegetables, not just the stuff that they make out of it.
Mental energy started to suffer, let alone my physical energy. That really started to fade away.
Well, yeah, you're going through a withdrawal when you start going on a pure... If you were on a pure carnivore diet, I don't know, in the beginning, it wouldn't last very long. So you're obviously not on that, and you're not getting the amount of nutrients that you're supposed to get in your diet. So what happens is you keep frying it. You make it come in contact with heat, and heat causes some problems with the meat. Get it? Yeah, it changes its molecular structure.
The first little bit, things were okay. And even after a little bit, I started trying to manage my electrolytes and stuff like that, but it never really made it better.
Electrolytes? Were you drinking raw milk? Do you even have access to raw milk? Why don't you tell us exactly what you were eating and what you were doing? Then maybe we can help your ass.
Something was up, and I really started to think, were plant-based foods really that bad for me? And did I really need to be eating?
Well, they were obviously that bad because that's why you stopped eating them. Duh. Hello.
Eating this way. And then my gym performance went and my bowel movements changed, not for the better.
Wait
and
a
I really
second,
started to wonder,
did he say gym performance? Another gym slave. What did you expect? Exercise, bro. Exercise causes inflammation, bro. Causes disease. It causes all kinds of problems. You have no clue in the world. It is not healthy.
Was I seeing improvements and feeling a little bit better in spite of what I was doing and not because of it? Instead of it actually being the absence of plants, was it because I was no longer eating so much junk and drinking alcohol?
Now that
was that the problem? Now he's going to say, well, was it because I stopped doing alcohol and everything else? Aren't they made from plants? Hello? What are you trying to say exactly here? What's he trying to say?
next point that we need to cover off is, are a lot of these carnivore and keto influencers deliberately misleading people for their own financial?
So why doesn't he tell us when he stopped the alcohol and whatever else he was doing, their illegal stuff? How did you feel? And you were still eating, let's say you were still eating these fruits and vegetables, but not the stuff that was ultra processed like alcohol. What happened? Obviously it wasn't working, right? So then you eliminated everything. Hello? What a doofus, eh?
Gains. Of course, there are many who make videos that they know will gain more views and therefore generate more money. Obviously, controversy sells.
Maybe that's why they're making those videos. Maybe that's why that doctor in the beginning there, what's his name, Saladino, Maybe that's why he's doing it, because he figured it wasn't selling. So he needs to get both sides. He needs to pull in both sides.
Unfortunately, humans love the path of least resistance. Tell people that they can fix all of their health problems in 3 weeks, eating only meat, and people will jump on it because it appears easy. Nobody wants...
It appears easy? I don't know. Does it seem easy? Maybe it's easy for them to go to the pharmacy and buy pills all day. Remember, if you don't treat food as medicine, then they'll be feeding you medicine as food down at the pharmacy. Yes, sir.
To hear the true reality, though. Whether you are losing weight, building a business, or regaining your health, there are no quick fixes in life. We all know this, and it's why the saying, if it's too good to be true, then it probably is, was invented.
Oh, yeah.
But I think there is a wider issue with influencers on the internet. It is just they do not have the education to understand the implications of the advice that they are giving. Just listen to Thomas DeLauer here.
If you're Canadian traveling to the United States like I am...
People and probably confuse some people. But number 4 is I would have controlled my saturated fat intake more. Hear me out on this. We know now, well, we did know then, but we were...
Thomas DeLauer is most likely on TRT. He's aging fast. For a guy in his mid-30s, look at his face. He is aging. He's aging. And taking testosterone replacement at that age is ridiculous just because he wants to look like an influencer.
Kind of an echo chamber. If you look at a lot of the literature, saturated fat in abundance, in an over-caloric state, is definitely a contributor to insulin resistance as well. It's not just sugar, and it's not just saturated fat.
Saturated fat, not animal fat. Not that I know of.
But when you look at them...
Are you talking about saturated fat from plants? Yeah.
Individually, in high amounts, they can cause a fatty liver. They can cause insulin resistance.
No, not animal fat, it doesn't. Not saturated animal fat. Maybe you're talking about coconuts or some shit, dude.
So here we have influencers advising people on diets, knowing the problems that they cause, because they don't want to communicate this because it's bad for business, because they haven't done the research in the first place, because they are caught in echo chambers, or because all of the above. Again, just listen to what Thomas is saying here about the basics of nutrition.
The third...
It's really simple. We never ate these fake foods before, so they never existed in nature. So what would you be eating out in nature? It's kind of obvious. Animals. Hello. Really raw animals. No pots, no pans, no cooking, just raw animals, dude. And we learned which ones to eat and which ones we shouldn't eat. Yeah.
thing that I would have done differently is, depending on what I was eating, I would have added a multivitamin into my diet. Because I realized that if I reverse engineer and look at the way my diet was a lot of times...
You know what's funny? These so-called carnivore people, and then they go, oh, I started eating carnivore. And then meanwhile, they're like downing chickens, which is putrid. The most abused animal, like I would say abused. I would say definitely chickens probably are abused. I don't know. Man, they pump them full of drugs and a bunch of stuff. They feed them garbage all day. And then you eat these garbage chickens, and then you're wondering, why do I feel sick? You know what I mean? How about the pork? It's a domesticated animal. They feed them garbage too. They feed them all this weird garbage, and then you eat them. They say this: if an animal eats an inappropriate diet, like let's say, for example, a cow, and they feed him an inappropriate diet of, let's say, I don't know, corn stalks or something, starts eating it, he gets something called dysbiosis in his stomach. Guess what you're going to get? It's going to be transferred to you, dysbiosis, and you're going to feel really bad. So it can be transferred over to you from these chickens, most likely.
You know, there was no way I was getting adequate nutrition in. I was just not. I would eat things like...
All the food today is garbage out there. You're not eating natural animals that you would be eating out in nature. So all these people are wondering, why am I getting sick? I'm now pure carnivore. I'm no longer. I've eliminated these plants.
Chicken breast, and then I would also add cheese to it. I would do heavy cream.
Again, see, there you go. Chicken breast, cheese, and all that. Cheese is unnatural, bro. Get it? And all these other things he's adding to it. Christ.
And I'm looking at this, I'm like, there's not any colors to this. I wasn't, some days, not getting a lot of red meat. Point is that on the days that I wouldn't be getting maybe liver in or red meat in.
Some days he wasn't getting red meat. I don't know what they fed that fucking red meat, bro. They're feeding it grains and corn stalks and shit. Your beef out there. Who the fuck knows what they're feeding them? And then you're getting dysbiosis and you're trying to wonder, where's this coming from? Hello? See what I mean? All your food is poison. So is your tap water. What about your tap water? You haven't even mentioned anything about tap water. If you're drinking tap water and you haven't figured out why you're feeling sick and you're bathing in it all day, full of chlorine and fluoride and everything, you're like bathing in a chemical bath. Hello? Plus, you're not supposed to be taking showers every single day. You're taking them because you're eating a fake diet full of sugar. Your skin is greasy. You smell like shit. You're shitting and farting all day you're bloated and shitting and farting all day. You smell. Your underarm, your armpits smell. You need soap and everything, all this stuff. You're eliminating your good bacteria on your skin. You're not supposed to be showering every day. See what I mean? Yeah. In nature, you wouldn't be showering. It's crazy. Your skin is going to be dry and nice. It's not going to be oily and greasy.
I should have been probably adding a good multivitamin in.
He didn't even know at the time, or couldn't even be bothered to look, that the diet he was following was nutritious.
He said he needed to add a multivitamin. Meat is not deficient in any nutrients, bro. I need to add a multivitamin because I can't figure out how poison and toxic all my food is in America.
Inadequate, despite influencing millions.
Man, the government's having a meltdown with the food. We're having a field day with the food out there. It's full of chemicals.
To follow his approach.
Whatever.
Now, time and time again, we are hearing more and more influencers who fail on these diets say shocking things like, when I started to do more research, I knew
Well, if they're eating fake diets, of course they're failing. Hello, Gojiman. Duh, look at you. You're a failure.
importance of X, Y.
Have you seen yourself? Have you taken a good look at yourself in the mirror? I know in nature you can't see yourself. In nature you'd never see yourself because mirrors don't exist out there. Maybe if you looked in a pond you might see a reflection of yourself, but guess what? You wouldn't care anyways. And but in nature, but now in this world, take a good look at yourself. You have a mirror. Figure it out. Look what you look like.
And Z. Just listen to Paul Saladino here.
I was definitely in ketosis at the time, monitoring blood.
He was in what? Ketosis. This doesn't exist. It's something fake he made up.
Ketones at the meter, not
Ketosis? He's whatever.
deep ketosis, but definitely ketosis. And so at that point, I started to dig into
Ketosis is not carnivore. It is not carnivore. Starving yourself, ketosis, doing all these weird things are not based on carnivore. And if your animal is eating artificial shit and you're eating him and you're cooking him as well on top of it, this is not carnivore.
research a little bit more and understood that insulin signaling is critical at the level of the kidney to hold on to minerals, to hold on to potassium, calcium, sodium, chloride, magnesium, and that in long-term ketosis.
Paul, what happens when you cook meat? What happens when you take it out of its natural state and you put heat to meat? What happens to it? Do you even know?
Most humans, you're going to become so electrolyte depleted that it's almost impossible to resolve that with enormous amounts of.
I've never been electrolyte depleted. Never. I just eat meat and fish. I'm not electrolyte depleted, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. I just drink water. I eat pretty much as raw as I can. The eggs are raw. I eat some raw meat. Now, if I go to buffet, I have to eat some of it cooked a little bit. But I try to get them not to cook it. They put it on a grill, but I only tell them to put it on there for half a few couple of seconds each side. That's it. I want it raw. And I eat raw sushi there and a bunch of stuff. Okay.
Electrolytes.
It's shocking that you get these idiots come to the internet with very little understanding of nutrition and convince millions of people to follow their advice. And then 6 or 12 months later, they flip-flop to something else they've read on the internet and have no understanding of. This guy sums it up very well.
They're just demonizing food. Like, Paul Saladino. I know that he's not considered fully carnivore by the real carnivore people because he eats fruit and honey. But, Paul
What are you talking about? Wait, he's not carnivore because he eats fruit and honey. Carnivore is not a diet, dude. We are carnivores. Get it? Like lions. You don't say to them, hey, they're eating carnivore. Look at those lions out there. They're eating a carnivore diet. No, they're not. They are carnivore animals. You get it? Like us. We are carnivore animals. So we eat meat. All right? We eat animals. Okay. We eat animals. Okay? So you saying because he ate some fruit, which is inappropriate for a carnivore animal, wouldn't usually eat fruit. Not to say that they can't. They can, because I've seen dogs when they put like some pieces of weird stuff on their meat and they're really, really, really hungry, they'll just eat everything on there, not knowing that what they're eating is not appropriate for them. It's not appropriate for them to eat, and it will cause them problems.
Oh, he goes into grocery stores and
yeah,
makes fun of people for eating vegetables and wears these.
Yeah, he's right. He even shows you that they won't even give you raw milk. The only raw milk they make is for pets. They don't even want to give it to you so you could be healthy. They give it to pets because they know that's the one thing that would make you healthy is raw milk, because it's raw and you'll drink it. But you'll cook your meat. You understand me? They know you're cooking your meat and you're destroying it. And they know you'll be nutrient deficient, and by cooking your meat, it causes a chemical change and it's not natural. But raw milk, hey, everybody would be drinking it. It's really good for you. Get it, dude? But you don't have access to it because your government doesn't allow you.
But shirts, kale is bullshit and that kind of stuff. And, making people feel guilty about eating vegetables and going in there with no shirt. Who goes into a grocery store with no shirt and shoes? And then starts,
I don't know,
ragging about
who does
people eating vegetables. I mean, this.
Sir, do you know I have to go to a pet store to buy raw goat's milk? I can't even get cow's milk. I have to get raw goat's milk. I have to go to a pet store to buy it. Can you imagine? Think about it. A slave. What does a slave do? That's like slave mentality. That's like slavery, dude. You don't even have access. Your government doesn't give you access to many things.
Like a psycho. So, the more I see stuff like that, the more I think this is like a cult.
So true, but the final point that I want to make here.
I love when he said this is like a cult. Okay, whatever. A cult. Oh my God. You being a carnivore is a cult. Yeah, okay, I've heard it all now.
Is if you are someone who has health issues, please look at the person you are getting advice from on the internet and look at how inconsistent their messaging is.
What do you mean inconsistent their message? They're not perfect beings. They've grown up in this zoo. You're in a zoo, brother. You are a prisoner. You are a slave, the Gojiman slave. You understand you're a slave?
Ask yourself, what are their motives for giving you that advice? Because if money is involved, there is a good chance your health is not even a passing thought for that influencer. It's just another payday. Ask yourself the simple question of whether it's too good to be true. You can't.
What? Man, this guy is so dumb. He can't even reflect on nature and him being in this artificial environment, artificial world that he lives in, this slave. What a slave, man. You are a slave. You have no idea.
Become rich overnight. You can't lose 60 pounds healthily by taking weight loss injections, and you certainly can't fix underlying health issues on fad, keto, or carnivore diets.
So how do you fix it then, smart guy? How do you fix your problems? Do you even know what caused the problems to begin with?
You may see some initial benefits, but look at all the people who have gone before you, many included in this video, telling you it caused them problems and it was nothing more than a cult.
Yeah, because it's not a carnivore diet. A carnivore diet means your natural appropriate diet as a carnivore. Get it? Raw animals. Christ.
Anyhow, that's the end of today's video. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to...
Thank God it's over, man. I thought I was going to lose a couple of more IQ points listening to this guy. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you in the next one. It is not a carnivore diet. At least people are not carnivores, okay? So if you're hitting them because you're hitting on them because they eliminated these things because they were trying to find out what caused them problems, well, the next step is this. They're cooking their meat. So now they found out that, guess what? As a carnivore, you should not be cooking your meat. You should be eating it raw. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to discover that all these problems will go away. And plus, they should stop exercising themselves. Body destroying. Hello. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends.